Special thanks to Horizon Therapeutics for sponsoring today's Special Fathers Network Dad to Dad podcast. Working tirelessly to research, develop, and bring forward medicines for people living with rare and rheumatic diseases. Discover more about Horizon Therapeutics' mission at horizontherapeutics.com. Also, please be sure to register for the May 15th Special Fathers Network Dads Virtual Conference and meet and learn from some of the country's most inspiring dads. You can register for free at 21stcenturydads.org.
Another challenge was, a great challenge, was to feel comfortable taking my child with me on public, not being ashamed, not hiding the eyes, but to be proud, to smile, to talk to other people, to involve my daughter in communication. I'm ready to share it with others because it's a big challenge, a big problem for our parents in Ukraine.
That's our guest this week, Ruslan Vasyutin. Ruslan is a native Ukrainian businessman who has a daughter with cerebral palsy. In his mission to provide support for parents for kids with special needs, Ruslan formed DCP Help to do just that, help. We'll hear Ruslan's life story and more on this Special Fathers Network Dad to Dad podcast. Say hello to David Hirsch.
Hi, and thanks for listening to the Dad to Dad podcast, Fathers Mentoring Fathers of Children with Special Needs, presented by the Special Fathers Network.
The Special Fathers Network is a dad-to-dad mentoring program for fathers raising children with special needs. Through our personalized matching process, new fathers with special needs children connect with mentor fathers in a similar situation. It's a great way for dads to support dads. To find out more, go to 21stcenturydads.org.
And if you're a dad looking for help or would like to offer help, we'd be honored to have you join our closed Facebook group. Please go to facebook.com/groups and search Dad to Dad.
And now let's hear this conversation between Ruslan Vasyutin and David Hirsch.
I'm thrilled to be talking today with Ruslan Vasyutin of Kiev, Ukraine, who has a daughter with cerebral palsy and has had a successful career in the insurance industry, is founder of Master Goal, an executive coaching and training company, and is founder and president of DCP Help, a not-for-profit whose mission is to provide comprehensive support to families with children with cerebral palsy and other organic disorders of the nervous system. Ruslan, thank you for taking the time to do a podcast interview for the Special Fathers Network.
It's my pleasure.
You and your wife, Olga, have been married for 9 years and are the proud parents of Alice, 8, who has severe cerebral palsy and is unable to walk or talk. Let's start with some background. Where did you grow up? Tell me something about your family.
I was born in Zaporizhzhia city, at the southeast of Ukraine. It's a big industrial city and a legendary motherland of Cossacks. And I've been grown up there for 17 years. After that, I finished my secondary education and entered high military academy. And then I started my military career, but spent only 5 years in the army. Then I left it and started my psychological career already in independent Ukraine. My family was quite small. I was the only child in my family. I had mother and father, and they were taking care of me carefully and very attentively. They were dreaming of my great success, so they were trying to support me with scientific and practical approaches, with different ways of educating, with sports, with music, with English, and so on and so forth. So they gave me the first impulse to grow and to develop as a professional.
That's wonderful. So I'm sort of curious to know, how would you describe your relationship with your father?
I would describe it as a very close relationship. He was a very experienced and very authoritative man. I respected him very much. He was very intensive and even strict in bringing me up. But I'm thankful to him for such approach. It was tough, but it was great because it gave me a lot of additional opportunities. So we were friends. Besides, we were relatives. And we're spending a lot of times reading books, discussing different books and different stories, and we've spent a lot of time in hiking, not only with him together, but with my mom also. But he was a great authority for me.
Excellent. Out of curiosity, what did your dad do for a living?
He was doing a lot of things because, at the edge of Soviet and independent times, it was necessary for people to take care of their families, trying whatever activities. Initially, he was an engineer, and he spent a lot of time being engineer and a technical enterprise. Later, and he was one of the Communist Party leaders. He was the head of a local whatever group of people at his factory, and he was very active socially. So different types of work.
And when you think about your dad, is there an important takeaway or takeaways? You've learned a lesson that you're like, I want to do more of that, or I want to be more like my dad?
Mm-hmm. So probably the main takeaways from our relationship are: man needs to be strong to protect himself and his family. This is the first. Another one: man needs to be smart to earn money and to grow. One more thing: man should be able to take care. And of course, man needs to be a father, not only just a man.
So let's talk a little bit about education, because you've had an extraordinary experience there in Ukraine as well as here in the U.S. And when you finished your formal studies, I was wondering, where did you think your career was going to take you?
Initially, I was dreaming of becoming a military man, but I was disappointed later in this career path and decided to devote myself to psychology. But in the 90s, psychology was giving a little money. So I was continuing to develop my scientific and practical career, but I had to work as a marketing manager. I was trying to combine my psychological background with marketing communications and succeeded in this. So I built my first stage of career in marketing communications, and very soon appeared in insurance business, which was developing very fast at that time. So after passing the part of my career in marketing communications, I became a project manager and a chief marketing officer of insurance company.
And you also have developed this business, this coaching business, and I'm wondering if that's more recent or if that's something you've been doing all along as well.
All along, yes. So I was dreaming of coming back closer to my psychological career, and I was hoping that sometime it will bring me not only self-satisfaction but income also. And I was developing it. I was practicing in coaching and business training, and I've got my degree, PhD, and I was trying to successfully implement this knowledge in my business activities. And a few years ago, when I left my position of top manager of Austrian life insurance company, I decided to activate my career in business coaching. So I've got a couple of certificates, official certificates, and started my official career in business coaching. I've launched my website, and I've started advertising, and so on and so forth.
That's excellent. So I'm sort of curious to know, what has your experience been here in the U.S.? Was it educational, was it work-related, or both?
To describe my experience in the United States, first of all, I liked it very much. And I liked the country, and I was impressed by a lot of positive moments. I was expecting some aggressiveness or arrogance and so on. But from the first days of my study, first I came to study in the United States, I found a lot of friends. And we were spending a lot of times together. Frankly speaking, I even didn't communicate to my Russian and Ukrainian friends a lot. So I was involved very much in communication with Americans, and I loved it. The openness of people. I've really experienced a lot of friendly relationship with Americans, and it was so open and sincere. My American friends were always ready to support, to understand, to listen, and to share a lot of things. So in general, I have a very positive picture and impression of the United States.
I'd like to switch gears. You and Olga have been married for 9 years, and I'm wondering, before Alice was born, did you or Olga have any experience with the special needs community?
No, absolutely not. We didn't have any experience with special needs community. Yes, some experience with taking care of grandparents, so being present, be partially involved in this caring process, but nothing special.
Well, what is Alice's situation, and when was it diagnosed?
We had a big problem during the process of birth, and trouble was evident from the very beginning. Some later, the official diagnosis was defined, and we were informed that due to these problems with giving birth, our daughter, will have some problems, as they said, during her education. That was it. And our neurologists were preparing us, but I've got the idea from the very beginning. And we had a lot of researches, investigations, and at 1 year old, we were informed officially, and we were given the document that our daughter has cerebral palsy.
What were some of the concerns or fears that you had getting the diagnosis, having it confirmed?
From the very beginning, due to this difficult process of giving life to our daughter, I started to love her from the very beginning. So for me, it was impossible even to imagine to leave her in a birth house or somewhere else, to get rid of her. Of course, we were suggested to do that. It's a traditional practice here. I don't know about United States, but here it's traditional practice. And medical doctors are offering this option. But I was very strict and categorical about this. No way, independently of her condition. I loved her from the very beginning. I was taking care of her, and I was going to bring her up.
Well, what's impressive, Ruslan, is that if the birth house is more traditional there in Ukraine, which I understand is institutionalizing your child and sort of going on with your life and sort of not being involved, that you did something that is not traditional, that you made a commitment that you're going to love your child and you're going to do the best that you can to raise her and provide her with as meaningful a life. And while it might be going against the grain of what is typical there in Ukraine, that is, what every father wishes for their child is that they'll lead the best life that they can lead. And anything we can do to encourage more fathers to follow your footsteps or to do the same, I think is really important. And I'm sort of curious to know, what are the important decisions that you and Olga made early on to support Alice?
First of all, the greatest decision to my mind was to stay together, even after big interpersonal conflicts. To stay together because we are parents and we are responsible for this girl. Not victimizing our interests, personal interests, no, of course, but finding compromises, finding common sense, finding common goals. And our goal is somebody to combine our efforts, to combine our lives. Another thing is to support each other in any situation. Because I consider myself quite strong, and my wife is considering herself quite strong. But we have, from time to time, some situations when we are really weak and we need support. And especially taking account that our allies need support and we need support at these situations, so double support is needed. And the first resource of support, of course, is ourselves. So we try to find support inside ourselves and then between each other with my wife. One more thing is to accept that our child is our destiny and we are together and we can be happy and we should be happy. That it is really possible not to suffer from that situation, but to build real happiness. One more thing, I would say that's one of the biggest lessons, that health is a gift from God. The health is the greatest gift from God, and we should take care of health, of our health and health of our relatives. And probably the resolving lesson is that life is too short to waste it on unfair stuff, unvaluable stuff. We should value every minute, every moment of our life, to devote it to each other, to enjoy communication, to enjoy every day.
Words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing. And not to focus on the negative, but I'm wondering what some of the bigger challenges for you and Olga have been.
Again, it was a great challenge to believe that happiness is possible in our situation, really possible, not an illusion of happiness, not the image of happiness, but the real happiness is possible, to enjoy, to smile, to laugh, to love, and to enjoy everyday living. Another challenge a great challenge was to feel comfortable taking my child with me on public, not being ashamed, not hiding the eyes, but to be proud, to smile, to talk to her, to talk to other people, to involve my daughter in communication. Now I enjoy this process, and I'm ready to share it with others, because it's a big challenge, a big problem for our parents in Ukraine.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. I think that the point you were making about being out in public and being comfortable is something that a lot of dads struggle with, which is it's very awkward. It can be very awkward because people stare, people say things, and it can be very uncomfortable. And once you get over that hurdle, once you can get beyond that, you just say, hey, this is our situation, right? Don't judge us. Just, allow us to be included, accept us. It takes a pretty strong person, to be able to sort of put themselves out there. And, once you do it again and again and again, and it becomes a little bit easier. But at first, it's very difficult, right, to, put yourself in an uncomfortable environment. But I think that's where the learning takes place. Maybe you see that within your coaching business, is you have to get outside your comfort zone, right? Because if you always avoid conflict or avoid problems, you're never going to be able to resolve them. So I love what you're doing on behalf of your daughter. So I'm wondering if there was a turning point, or you can look back, even though it's only been 8 years, and identify things that have helped for you, helped in your situation.
Frankly speaking, it was a hard time for me personally during the first years of Alice's life. And I had to combine my intensive career with intensive care of my family and my daughter. So it was very hard psychologically, even taking into account that I'm a psychologist, but it was hard for me to do that. So I applied to got a supporting course from psychotherapist. And it was successful, and I think it was a great decision not to suffer from this internal conflict, but to share it and to resolve it. And another turning point was decision to start DCP Help activities. I started to communicate to other people with the same challenges. I started to share our experience. I started to consume others' experience, to use it, to have experiments. And I liked this step in my life.
So I'm wondering what impact Alice's life has had on your marriage and on your extended family, for that matter.
When we were married, we didn't expect such challenges to appear in front of us. So it was, I would say, quite a tough examination on altruism, on ability to love, on humanism, ability to care and share in our family. I was a little bit older than my wife. She was quite young when she married me. So I had some more experience after army, after my intensive life, and I was happy to share wisdom and with this experience with her. And she accepted it and started to produce her own great experience in this direction.
And how about the rest of your family?
Parents, of course, were astonished with this fact and situation, and were trying somehow to accept it because they loved us and they love us. But the real impact was the opening of their ability to love and care at the highest level. Really love, not each other, but love other people, love Alice, love us on a higher level of relationship.
Excellent. So I'm wondering if there's been any supporting organizations that have helped you or your family or Alice in particular.
We've became great friends and partners with Orange Penguin Foundation in the United States. I found these great people occasionally in the internet. Some of them are Russian speaking, but English was not a problem. They were just more understanding the specificity of problems here, of local problems. And we first became friends, and then we became partners. And these people from Orange Penguin Foundation, they sent to me a lot of equipment, and I was distributing this equipment here among people who needed it, among children who needed it. And before this COVID situation, we were very active in cooperation. And now we wait till we will get out of this COVID problem to continue intensive interaction and cooperation.
Well, we'll be sure to include information about the Orange Penguin Foundation in the show notes. So I'm wondering, beyond your own personal experience, what is it that motivated you to create the DCP Help, and what does DCP stand for that matter?
The main motives of creating this organization and to help others, and especially other dads, were to help them to act efficiently, to live productively, to make their special children and families happy. First, to realize, to understand that it is possible, and then to have tools and resources to provide this, to maintain this happiness. Of course, best practices and experience sharing. All of us have unique situations, unique problems, unique tasks, challenges, but we also have a lot of common stuff. And of course, we can and we should help each other while sharing these experiences, successful and not successful experience, to avoid problems, to avoid mistakes, to support them emotionally, to support them informationally, to support them spiritually, and just to be together. It makes sense in any times, even during the wars and pandemic times. So that's a great part of my intention to create our organization and to develop it.
Yeah, well, I love what you're doing, and your mission is very clear. And I'm wondering, what's your vision for this group of Ukraine dads?
I decided to create some special dads community in Ukraine because, first of all, we didn't have it. Special dads are very specific and very closed and passive, unfortunately. Many of them are working hard 24 hours a day to support their families. We have stereotypes in our country that men should be closed, men should be not sharing his feelings, just doing his job, just protecting his family and being a macho. That's it. So to open them, to let them communicate, that's one of the challenges. Unfortunately, traditionally, most of families in Ukraine with special children, are without fathers. It's a very bad tendency, but a lot of fathers leave families after getting the information about the diagnosis and about the problems. But still, we have a lot of fathers who stay in the families and who love their children and support their children, and they have intention to share this knowledge, share this information that this is not so crucial and tragic situation. We still have good examples. We still have good fathers, and they could share their experience and feelings and resources. And finally, I would like to create a powerful, useful, and valuable platform for productive communication and mutual support for fathers, for special fathers in Ukraine. And I already found some people who are supporting my ideas, who are ready to share their knowledge, their information, their being even volunteers to support such organization, such community at the beginning.
That's fabulous. Well, I think that getting others involved is important. Storytelling, like we're telling today, helping share your story, and maybe you can help others tell their story as well, Ruslan. And I'm wondering, from a program standpoint, what would you like to focus on? If you could just pick one or two things, where do you want to focus your efforts?
First of all, to inform fathers about this possibility, about this opportunity, that they are not alone, that we have a group, we have a community where they can be open, when they can be sincere, and when they can get a real support, a valuable support. And not on words, and not just blah, blah, but real support, spiritual support, emotional support. So first of all, I would like to popularize this idea of being able to enjoy life, being a father of special child, not victimizing the life, not being a hard worker and that's it, and not sacrificing their life, but enjoying it, sharing this energy, positive energy with the family and others. So to let people believe, to feel that it is possible based on examples, on good stories, on real faces, on real names and real families. So, I'm going to create a database, to create a list of such fathers, to combine them, to create a really interactive platform for the fast information exchange, for communicating, for spending time together in different cities, and of course, communicating internationally to get good examples, to get good experiences and practices of achieving something already, and to have a good orienteer for us for a close and further future.
Yeah, well, I love what you're doing. I love your heart. I love the passion you bring to it. And I'm confident that with the program that you outlined, that you're going to have great success, maybe not straight line success, but you'll engage others that are similarly minded, And with your efforts together, you'll be able to accomplish so much more than you would individually. And the point you were making about not being alone and getting dads to communicate in an authentic way is really important. And I'm wondering, what important takeaways can you share with a dad about raising a child with differences?
Yes, of course, I have a lot of things to share, but probably the main are first, not to ignore psychotherapy and coaching, especially to fathers. The second one is to communicate with other similar families, and not to be shy, not to be isolated, not to be ashamed, but to join this communication actively, to share and to get the advices, the information, the emotions, and so on. And probably the main thing is to be proud of our special children and their achievements, and even smallest achievements, which are maybe not noticeable for others, but very important for us, for them, for our children, and for us as parents and families. So to be proud, really proud of our children, not ashamed.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. If I can paraphrase, accept help or advice through therapy or coaching. Make sure that you're not alone. Don't be isolated. So communicate with other families. And then, celebrate the victories, the small victories, not necessarily the big victories. And, be proud of that, right? And just accept what your reality is. I think those are just pearls of wisdom. So I'm sort of curious to know, why is it that you've agreed to be a mentor father as part of the Special Fathers Network?
First of all, I'm very happy to get to know you personally, your experience, and your ideas. I share them, and I would like to be a part of this movement, of this ideology. And I feel that I'm able to provide something similar here in Ukraine, and to be a part of such a great community is very important for me, and I feel happy that we are communicating and you are accepting my positions and my questions and my needs. So, of course, need to network, to exchange information, experience, support, and even just life energy with people. And of course, I also would like to create a special system, not just the idea, the intention, but a special system of fathers' mutual support in Ukraine. That's something very specific and very new for Ukraine, but I believe in it and believe that we need it very much. And of course, we need advices and support in building such community, such organization. And even now, having almost no experience of such organization, I still want to share personal vision, opinion, and achievements. And I'm sure that other fathers from Ukraine are also ready and want to share their achievements and experience with others, even abroad. Of course, it's very important to provide cross-cultural development. So to me, it's very important to let foreign people know our situation, to let our people know the foreign situation, to find similar things, to find contradictions, to find solutions, and to provide these solutions here in Ukraine. And, I just need to help people in hard situations related to special children. I enjoy it. I feel good when I help. So I find it quite developing, and I'm proud that I'm doing this.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled to have you. Thank you for being part of the network. I'm wondering if there's anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up.
Yes. First of all, thank you. Thank you for support. Thank you for attention. I'm trying to build international cooperation, but it appeared to be very complicated, and I do not have a lot of responses from abroad. I don't know the reason, but I'm trying to knock at the doors and I'm trying to attract attention. But I'm happy that you respond to me and we are communicating. I would like to say that probably all of us, all around the world, we have the same challenges. We have the same problems and we have the same opportunities. And I would like to wish all other fathers of special children the success, the joy of life, and happy families.
Well, thank you. If somebody wants to learn more about DCP Help, Master Goal, or just to contact you, what's the best way to do that, Ruslan?
The best way is to use LinkedIn with the same names. My name, Ruslan Vasyutin, or Master Goal, or DCP Help. Facebook, also I'm very active in this network. I'm starting to be active on Instagram. And in general, in internet, we have websites on Master Goal, on DCP Help. So welcome everybody. And I will be happy to communicate to people on these networks.
Ruslan, thank you for your time and many insights. As a reminder, Ruslan is just one of the dads who's part of the Special Fathers Network, a mentoring program for fathers raising a child with special needs. If you'd like to be a mentor father or are seeking advice from a mentor father with a similar situation to your own, please go to 21stcenturydads.org. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Special Fathers Network Dad to Dad podcast. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. As you probably know, the 21st Century Dads Foundation is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, which means we need your help to keep our content free to all concerned. Would you please consider making a tax-deductible contribution? I would really appreciate your support. Ruslan, thanks again.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And thank you for listening to the Dad to Dad podcast, presented by the Special Fathers Network. The Special Fathers Network is a dad-to-dad mentoring program for fathers raising children with special needs. Through our personalized matching process, new fathers with special needs children connect with mentor fathers in a similar situation. It's a great way for fathers to support fathers. Go to 21stcenturydads.org.
And if you're a dad looking for help or would like to offer help, we would be honored to have you join our closed Facebook group. Please go to facebook.com/groups and search Dad to Dad. Also, please be sure to register for the Special Fathers Network bi-weekly Zoom calls held on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. Lastly, we're always looking to share interesting stories. If you'd like to share your story or know of a compelling story, please send an email to david@21stcenturydads.org.
The Dad to Dad podcast was produced by Couch Audio for the Special Fathers Network. Thanks again to Horizon Therapeutics, who believe that science and compassion must work together to transform lives. That's why they work tirelessly to research, develop, and bring forward medicines for people living with rare and rheumatic diseases. Discover more about Horizon Therapeutics at horizontherapeutics.com.